Hello, and welcome back to another episode of I Guess You Shouldn't Smoke Cigarettes and Not Eat. I'm your host, Kaylee Carpenter.
And I'm Mandy Kell.
And we are here again to talk about episode 16, season 37, called Riverdance. Oh, and I have a question for you, Mandy.
Yes.
Did you know that Tori and Devin are friends outside of the game?
This is a surprise to me, seeing as last season when they were partnered together, they literally talked about how much they hated each other. But glad to know that Devin has made friends with everyone he hates.
Yeah, who are you, Devin? Don't even know who you are anymore.
Mr. I'm so upfront and honest, but now I am friends with everyone that I said I hated for the past 5 years.
Okay. Josh, never forget.
Never forget. So at the beginning of the episode, when Emmanuel's like doing this whatever chicken thing, I'm not going to do that noise.
Oh yeah, the chicken thing.
Yeah, I was gonna give him shit, and I'm like, oh, really, Emmanuel, like talking a whole bunch of game on your confessional, but then it's a shot of him doing it to Kyle's face, and I was like, okay, we still love you.
I know, I didn't catch that right away, and I was like, oh, he's actually doing it right to Kyle. Like, can we get that whole scene? I bet it was great.
And I love how Kyle thought it was hilarious because Kyle knows how to take a joke. Corey,
yes,
take note.
I don't think he ever gets mad about people giving him shit, and that is my kind of people.
Yeah, he's not mad about people giving him shit, and the only time I've ever seen Kyle get mad is when CT was essentially like, we're not friends, and then Kyle's like really hurt by that.
Yeah, because that was real.
Yeah, yep.
That was sad. Yeah, so Josh just went home. Everyone's so sad because they love Josh so much.
I fucking hated that conversation with Devin and Kyle where I think you texted me before I even watched it and said you're gonna hate this, and I was like, this is exactly where she was saying it.
And it's like the second scene.
Yep, it is.
It's terrible.
Because I mean, of my knowledge, not a lie that he told this entire game. It's like no one gives a fuck whether you lie in this game or not. That's the whole point. It's called Spies, Lies, and Allies. And Devin's trying to be like, he didn't lie. And it's like, good, he should have left then because he wasn't fucking lying and he was boring as hell like you are right now.
Yeah, like I wonder what Devin thinks when he's like rewatching the season and seeing how much Josh lies or flip-flops. Like, at least Devin doesn't really do that. I mean, he loves everyone he didn't love, but he's not, like, flip-flopping per episode. If you're like, I love Ashley, I hate Ashley, I love Amanda, I hate Amanda, because that was Josh. Yeah,
Josh literally flip-flops in the middle of conversation. Josh will be like, I don't want to make this conversation about myself, but here's my entire life story, FYI, and here's some more about me, and what are we even talking about anymore? Because I'm still just talking about myself.
Exactly. And then Devin's super annoying because he decides to blame Josh going home on Tori and Amanda.
I'm so glad you said that because it really pissed me off too. Like, what? It's their responsibility to keep Josh in the game. He's a grown-ass man. Like, what the fuck? And Tori's on a different team. Like,
that can't accept that.
Devin is just so delusional this game. It's so hard to watch because I really love him. And watching like the earlier seasons where his first couple of seasons, I miss him so much.
I know. He was great.
He's so obnoxious and it's not good TV. Like, I don't think they're... No. I understand they're all like friends now. Like, I think this like whole group of vets are like friends. So they came into it being like, hey, let's all run the final together and try to get each other as much amount of money as possible, which cool, great. It's boring as fuck TV. Like, yeah, think about the long game. Like, you want the challenge to become popular, so make it a little more messy. Stop like this.
And you want to come back. Like, I get the end game is the money and everything, but it's a responsibility to make good TV. And I think I listened to like a little bit of Johnny's podcast and he talks about this. I don't know if it's with Josh, which gross, but like this vet alliance is boring and make it interesting. I mean, Bananas had his alliances, obviously, like Leroy and everyone, and he would still fuck with everyone. Like the notes is a classic. Just do a note.
And it's like, well, because as much as I don't like Bananas, he knows that like him being hated is good TV. Yeah. And if you even like hear Bananas talk about like some of the relationships he has off the show. Like him and Wes are cool off the show. They only beefed on the show because when you're a reality star, you have a persona that you put on for reality TV because it's still a TV show. Like you guys are not actually professional athletes. You're reality TV stars. Like you can't give this whole like, we're in this together, no distractions, we're going to win the Super Bowl bullshit because you're not professional athletes. You're reality TV stars on MTV.
Yeah.
It's like really you're not representing this season.
Yeah, you're not representing like a city or a town or have a press conference after each game. Like you have confessionals and just do something.
Yeah, the whole point of this game is to fucking backstab each other. Like it's literally says lies in the title. Like you're supposed to be lying to each other.
Yeah, and like look at Bananas now. He has like a show after SNL or something, like primetime or late cable. He has a podcast, he travels, he does all this stuff. Like Devin wants that. And if you want to be like that, give us something. You're giving us nothing. Boring TV. The whole Vet Alliance is boring.
I think they're so obsessed with like making sure that they have wins under their title that like they're not. That's what they're obsessed about right now. I feel like they want to win, but it's just like, stop doing this bullshit. It's so boring. I hate this season. I realize I really hate when like a large alliance takes over early on and just continues. It's always the most boring seasons. It's like you need to have almost a 50-50 split in like a leader on each side. Like you need a West Bananas situation.
Or when Polly and Carmarie like had that whole alliance.
Yeah, because that was a terrible season too, because they just like they came in as like a dominant alliance, and then that was all the season was about, was that alliance, and it wasn't about anything else. And that's the same with this season, and it's boring. And it's sad because it was like a good cast, and I feel like they wasted it.
Yeah, because then they kept whoever for the alliance and not the actual play, and then they sucked in the final. Like Polly died. That's what's gonna happen. We're having deja vu. That is so happen.
I feel like they're actually like better athletes now, but it's still like the same boring bullshit where it's just like, okay, it's like predictable. I could tell you who's going in before, like if you were to bet big, well, not to give away, spoiler alert. The two people that go into this elimination, I think anyone could predict it before it even happened.
Yeah, last episode is the same, like Josh, and the way they're editing it and cutting it, like they give in the beginning, like Big T or Josh, like a segment, you're like, oh, they're going in. Like how they're framing the show is very obvious about who is going to be thrown in.
Yeah, it's way overproduced.
We're watching it too much.
Not to use like the produced thing, but it's way overproduced at this point. They need to like take it a step back and go to like their older roots and essentially like do what All Stars is doing. Like, I feel like All Stars has like a similar budget now too. So it's just like, don't overproduce. Like you can have a large budget and still not overproduce.
Right. Editing. Ugh. Okay. So after CT and Emmy have a team meeting without Kyle, and CT is just very butthurt that Kyle's back on the team and wonders why he would come back. I think it's very obvious.
Yeah. Well, and it's like CT thinks Kyle's going to sabotage, but I was like, sabotage what? You guys are like a fucking week away from the final. What is he going to sabotage himself from winning $1 million when he has a child on the way?
Yeah, and he doesn't have an alliance. Like, what he's going to sabotage so Emerald wins? He's not going to do that.
Yeah, like he's probably on the best situation he's going to be on. So, like, what he's going to sabotage so that he doesn't have one of the strongest girls, Emmy, in the house on his team, so he can run it just with CT. I don't understand what CT is.
Kyle's just not good on a team, and either is CT unless CT has the right people. So them together, the egos.
I feel like CT's just saving face because he did a shitty thing by throwing in his friend, and then essentially the way he did it, Kyle called him out because CT tried to pull one of his old school bullshit where he just started screaming. And Kyle called him out on it, and CT looked like an idiot, I think, on it. I feel like he's just saving face. Because Loki, I think CT's been manipulating most of this game.
He is. He's just very, very, very sneaky. Like everyone that thinks it's their idea, like Devin or whatever, it's really CT's idea.
Yeah, the whole like let's team up, and everyone thought that was all Tori. It was 100% CT, and then because they re-showed that, I think so you got to see it again, and it's literally CT mentioning it, and then Tori's wheels spinning, and then Tori gets blamed for it all.
Yeah, no one ever blames CT.
And how many times CT has asked Emmy to go in to like better his situation? This is all fucking CT's game, Loki.
I know. Emmy figures that out later. So yeah, Emmy's like the in-between of Kyle and CT. Like she needs them to get along or their team's gonna suck. Very obvious. So next they have a day off, a boat day. That's like a ferry.
Yeah. I was like, what happened to the club? Is the club no longer available? Because I think they went to a party later on too.
Yeah, where is the club?
They were like, we have too small of a cast for this club now, so we'll just be going on boats.
Yeah.
It was funny. Did you see their avocado blow up? Like, saw like Nani blowing it up. I was just cackling the entire time.
Oh my gosh, I didn't see that. That's amazing.
And then Nani and Casey were on the avocado, and I was like, my dream.
I know, they're so cute. I love them. Yeah, so of course Devin can't have a good time on a boat day.
Literally, my first line is Devin is insane. Just like
he is. He's so butthurt, like just sulking in the corner, and he's talking about how Tori is one of his number one girls, but he's still upset about what she did in the last minute match mission. And then Tori says Devin is still upset that she's actually playing for her team, which is true.
Yeah, like, and Tori says it perfectly in her thing. She's like, I get we're friends, but like I came here for me. And it's like, yeah, you don't realize it. Like, you guys are essentially coworkers in this. Like, you guys are there for a specific reason. If you want to have friends outside of this, like, have friendships outside of this. But like, what is she supposed to do? Just help you guys win $1 million? Like, obviously she's going to do what's best for her team, and her best thing for her team was to keep the guys solidified on that team. So I don't.
Yeah, she's going to sabotage. I know. I always compare it lately to us and our basketball team back in the day.
Dude, I have a fucking comment about this. We're on the same level.
We're not even together. But it'd be like me and you, like, we're friends, blah blah blah, and then we have a scrimmage against each other. We're gonna play as hard as we can against each other to win. That's what you do.
And the only issue is if like you try to elbow me in my throat, then we're not friends anymore, or we have issues
outside. Play real dirty.
Yeah.
You should play good.
Yeah.
Like, no. Competition.
That's literally the line I have. I was like, to me, this is obvious that Tori like played sports growing up and Devin did not. Because to me, like, everyone that played sports knows, like, when you get on a court, like, shit set aside, you guys are going against each other and you're going to try to win. And it's like, I would never, if we were playing against each other in basketball, I would never be like, you know, Kaylee, great friend of mine, here's the ball. Would you like a layup? I know this is going to really boost your stats. I would never fucking do that.
So what exactly did Devin expect Tori to do? Like, is he mostly mad that they tried to team up against Emerald? If like they played their own game, would he not be mad? Like, I don't get what he expected Tori to do.
He wanted them all to play like a level playing field. Like, he's very upset that they teamed up against like they made an alliance to like go against them. But that was honestly the only way that they were gonna have a chance. So it's like, why wouldn't you?
And obviously, if they did that, then Emerald would be going after Ruby the hardest, and Ruby would just take it. So I don't.
It's like, to me, it's like that situation, you know, in like Rocket Sports, when, do you remember when they like brought in people from like Forest Hills Eastern or some shit, and they got put on a team, and that made that team like really good? Like, everyone got pissed about it, but you talk your shit and then you beat them on the court, you know, like. You don't
that's playing sports.
Yeah,
Devin did play sports in high school.
Yeah, Devin, we can tell by your athleticism and the way you talk that you did not play sports.
He's never coming on our podcast.
He really is. I love Devin so much, but like, dude, you're so lame this season. You guys are reality TV stars. Your job is to entertain. Your job is not to like win.
He used to know that. Yeah. I don't get it.
I think it's exactly what Kyle said. Like, it's just shit's going to his head.
Yeah, he got a little bit of power, so he's crazy. So Tori and Devin finally talk, and it's very annoying, and very much many like gaslighting things are happening towards Tori from Devin, and she just wants him to apologize for how he made her feel, which is totally valid, about how she played the last challenge. And he's like, I don't respect someone that blindly plays the game really hard with no thought behind it, which is like literally Tori had thought behind it. What are you talking about?
Literally the same quote, Kaylee. We are very much on the same level about everything.
That's awesome. I was like, I wrote in capital letters. I was like, that's the point, Devin. Like, well, so yeah, it's stupid.
And like low key, that is a very manipulative statement because he's also taking a dig at her. He's saying she's dumb. Like he's in a very, very nice way saying she's dumb.
And over again.
That's something I feel like Tori knows she's athletic, but she can't do well in puzzles and shit like that. And he's pushing that button, which is super, super manipulative. And I don't even feel like Tori necessarily picked it up. She was hearing him out. And I'm just like, Devin, you're being a legit asshole to your friend.
Yeah, and he's just so prideful that he won't apologize, and so he's like, since I don't feel bad, I'm not going to apologize, because that makes, if I do apologize and I don't feel I need to, then that waters down my apologies. Like, then my apologies mean nothing. It's like, okay, I get that, Devin, but you actually need to apologize. Like,
yeah, it's very obvious in this conversation that Tori took time to like think about how Devin felt about the situation, and even like gave him some things like, I understand why you're mad because of this. What I need, like, Tori very obviously is like knows how to communicate with people, and Devin is just a gaslighting asshole. And he's like, there's nothing in him that is trying to understand Tori's point of view. He's just trying to essentially win an argument and say, you're wrong, I'm right.
Yeah, because she says, like, you lost me as a partner, so you're going to lose my heart, my strategy, my game, talent, everything. Like, that's just how it is. If Devin was infiltrated and to another team, the same shit. Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, Devin could easily have been infiltrated as well, because Emmanuel and a Kyle or CT or Logan would be a killer team as well. So he's fucking lucky. You could be in Ruby,
Devin's just so annoying this season. I can't even, like, it's so hard every time he talks. I'm just like, oh. I've never had it where someone that I love so much, I've like heel turn hated within a season.
In a season, yeah, because we loved him in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird. Yeah, so Tori's just begging him to say sorry, which is really sad to see. And Devin's like, I hurt a lot of people's feelings, and a lot of the time it's irrational.
And what you're saying is that he's such an ass. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine being in a relationship with him?
I always wanted to date him. I can't date him. I would go crazy.
I feel like we're seeing why he was so silent on what was it, X on the beach? It was like X on the mountain or whatever.
I know, I can't remember if he was on the beach or the mountain. They're coming back for another season. Did you see that?
Who's coming
back? They're
back
on the beach.
They're back on the beach. There's no longer on a mountain.
No.
How great for them.
I know. I can't wait to watch it. This is some garbage TV.
Okay, but off topic. When did him and Marie have a thing?
Next up, we have Logan and Big T. I say Logan and Big T talk for some reason.
Yeah, I said IDK boring.
And he's an asshole. He's a low-key asshole. He talks about her diet, get rid of the donuts. Like, I don't know. He's basically saying take it seriously, and you're not. She's just getting shit on this whole episode.
So I don't I understand Big T at this point is probably the least athletic person there, but she's also like not that bad. People are acting like she's the worst. Like there are so many people that have been on challenges in the past that would have gassed out on like this $1 million heist. Sorry to take out the name from you, but like, okay. I don't she didn't gas out at all.
Yeah. And I mean, everyone used to shit on Nani a lot, and now.
But I feel like it was the same situation. And Nani kind of talked about it in the after show too, how people like shit on her. And she was just like, I'm just realistic about what I can accomplish. Like, obviously, I'm not going to win a hall brawl against Casey or Tori. I know that. And I think people thinking like my just honesty and like me being realistic is like me not being confident, but it's just like being realistic, which is true.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like there are a lot of people on the challenge that just say bullshit, and you're like, oh, really, Huey? You're going to die on this floor? And you're like, okay. Nani's just honest, so she's amazing.
I think only Emmy can say she's going to die on the floor.
Because I would believe Emmy would die on the floor.
Yeah, she's scary. Those Romania people are like, give me your blood.
Okay, Loki, how much money did you have on Romania being like the alliance that lasted throughout this season?
Zero.
Like we had like Survivor, we had Nigeria, we had a whole England contingent.
Yeah, because Emmanuel and Emmy are the only two, right? The whole time, I think.
Logan's here, but yeah.
Oh, but he's Spain.
Yeah.
Like Romania. So they made it. I think they're just like badasses over there. Scary.
No more Poland. R.I.P.
Hungary.
Hungary.
Wherever Gabo's from. R.I.P. Gabo.
Garbo.
Yeah, so basically Big T's like, she got a second chance. She wants to use it for a reason. She wants to deserve to be here, etc., etc. And we finally have challenge day.
Yay.
And the first thing is CT is worried about working with Kyle. Shocker. And TJ talks about what $1 million looks like. And I think he opens his vault and it's $1 million in ones, right?
Yeah, that's what I said. Are those all ones? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, no shit.
2,000 pounds or some shit.
Yeah, makes sense. It's ones.
Yeah. Yeah, like, well, could we get a 5 in here, guys? Like, my goodness.
Yeah, if it was 100s, it wouldn't be much.
Yeah, it was like, it'd be a duffel. It would be one duffel bag, and then we would see a sprint. And apparently, since Devin's obsessed with marathons, they wouldn't be able to win that one. So
totally. So the challenge, as stated before, is called $1 Million Heist.
Hey.
And each cell has $1 million in a vault, and they have 2 duffel bags per cell, and you have to transfer that money to an SUV that's down the beach a little bit. I'm not sure how far. And you can only use those 2 duffel bags. So the first team to empty their vault into the SUV wins.
Hey.
It was okay. It was kind of cool.
I actually kind of liked this one.
Yeah. It took a while.
So they have their team confessionals, and I think it's just like wrapped up with Emerald is interested in securing the bag. Sapphire doesn't trust each other. And I put Ruby, so much positivity, you.
Yeah, I'm done taking notes on their confessionals before the challenge because they annoy me so much.
I mean, the only thing funny is that Kyle had like a funny joke where he was like, well, I am now on Sapphire where 100% of the team that is not me voted me into last elimination.
Honestly, smart move. Join the team where they sent you home because now they can't.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you do that? It's a great gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, Emerald and Ruby start out very strong. Big T wants to prove herself during this challenge because she knows she's in danger. And Amanda's performing very well, and Casey's shocked that she's being positive.
But low-key, everyone's talking about how shocked they are, how like Amanda's trying and how like well she's doing. And I'm like, okay, but this is a girls' elimination day on probably the last elimination before a final. Of course she's working her ass off to be safe.
Yeah. She wants to win.
I love Amanda, but she's selfish, which we love in this show. Devin.
Is the point.
Yeah. Like, so obviously she's working hard. I don't know why everyone's acting like this is the biggest surprise of the season.
I know, it's so stupid. Emmy struggles to be the buffer between Kyle and CT. They're definitely behind. They only have 3 people.
So were Kyle and CT arguing a lot during this or something? Because like I only saw one big, like, I won't even say like big blow up. It was just like Kyle saying, be careful of the wind, and CT saying, I know. And then that was the only argument I saw.
That's true. There must have been more though, because I just don't see them working. They obviously don't work together as a team, and they're just going to yell at each other.
Yeah, and they were way behind. I mean, we'll get to it later, but
yeah, they weren't filling their bags full enough for sure, I think was the main problem.
Which you would think like on a team with CT, why weren't they filling their bags?
Yeah, because he like picks up a bag and he's like, this feels really light. It's like, well, where were you while it was being filled? Were you filling the other one and then you grabbed this one that you didn't fill? That doesn't make sense.
Okay, conspiracy theory. Low-key, I feel like CT did not try to win this mission because he does use Emmy as someone that takes people out.
Oh, damn. That's true. And it's a girls' day, so he's not going to try that hard. Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah, so Nani's realizing the real competition is Ruby. They're very close. It looks like at this point Ruby's winning.
Mm-hmm. What I pretty much said though, like Tori's like such a game changer on a team though. Like the way she communicates and gets everyone working together, she's just very like a clear communicator, being like, this is what I need from you. And even when she criticizes, like when she criticizes Big T for doing things, she buffers it with like something positive first and then says it in a very direct, like, this is what I need from you and you're not doing it. And I don't think Tori's like great necessarily she's good individually, but like on a team, but like in a team setting, like she's a straight up leader, and I think teams like benefit automatically when she's on there.
Totally. She really brings Nelson, Logan, and Big T together, because if they didn't have her, they would be fighting.
Yeah, because like what, Nelson as a leader, we saw that before. It doesn't work out. People start yelling in the club.
Yeah, and then we had Corey. So obviously Tori is gonna be better than Corey.
Corey's like the person that wants to be a leader but can't do it, and Tori's just like that natural, not even trying, and can do it.
Yeah, it's really great. And then we see shots of Devin struggling with his endurance and Nelson talking shit, being like he'd rather pick up a beer and shoot pool all day instead of run on the treadmill. Oh shit.
Okay, but low-key, he could have made that like stinger so much better.
Yeah, he just kind of said it.
I know. He could have he should have went to Amanda and been like, can you help me write this?
Help me on my delivery.
I know. I wish Amanda was on a separate team, because there would have been so many like zingers on Devin this challenge.
I know. And I wanted to see more. Like, were they just focusing that Devin didn't really have endurance? Or did he not? Like, I guess he was like huffing and puffing for a minute.
Yeah, I think he didn't get like his rotation with the bags too, because the last bags I saw, it was Casey and Nani carrying it, and Devin was like barely keeping up ahead of them. Which
I love it, bro. Love it. Yeah, so Logan's yelling at Big T because she's walking, and he's like, how is she gonna make a final? This is only a couple of miles and she's walking. He's such an asshole.
Also, like, she's conserving energy. Like, this is, as Devin said a million times, a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
Like, if she's keeping ahead of you guys, like, let her take her time. Like, she doesn't need to overexert herself. Essentially, they're like, Big T, why aren't you, like, superwomaning it? Just, like, let her do her.
It's really weird. So they try to tell Big T to, like, go ahead.
So they try to tell Logan tells Big T to go ahead. So then Big T sprints ahead, and they're like, go in the car and like move it out of the way. And Big T like hops in the first car she sees, starts pushing out the money. And I love the camera footage inside. You can see like how proud she is of herself. And because I think she thinks her team is cheering her on because they all scream her name, but they're screaming her name because she got into Sapphire's car and not Ruby's car. And she's essentially helping out the other team. Everyone is screaming for her to get the fuck out of the car. And this is where we see Tori's leadership, where she goes, I love you, Big T, but I need your head in the game, girl.
Yeah, I loved that too. Poor Big T, she's like, I feel embarrassed. I feel the weakest female agent, but I need to focus on what I need to do right now. And Emerald and Ruby are still neck and neck. So yeah, Emerald ends up being on their last load, and they're running towards the car as Ruby is running back for their last load. And Tori just keeps saying, they have to fit it in. They have to fit it in. And Ruby sprints back, but it's too late.
And I guess it was like from the after show, like they were saying it was only like 20 seconds behind. So it was super, super close.
Yeah, that's what they said on the podcast too. Tori said the whole thing was like an hour and 45 minutes, which is so long.
Yeah. Also, like, this is why I don't understand like the producing in this show necessarily, because randomly in this challenge they showed like a $1 bill like laying on the ground that made you think like, oh, this is gonna come down to it has to be exact, and then like that never came up again. So we just got like a random shot of a missing $1 bill from one of the teams.
I know,
nothing. Like, that's just,
they said you need all your money.
Yeah, that's just wasted airtime, MTV. Why did I get a shot of a $1 bill on a ground for 30 seconds? Maybe 10, but whatever.
Like, if it was going to come down to something, but then it didn't, so then, like, cut that shot out?
Yeah.
Maybe? I don't know, that was really weird.
Stupid.
Yeah, so as Ruby walks up to the cars, Emerald shuts their trunk first, and of course Nelson's like, we can't fucking win. They're like the Lions. That's what I thought of though. When he said that.
Oh, the poor Lions can't win. We can tie some, but
yeah, we
not
can
gonna
win. So yeah, Emerald wins, and now we have after the challenge. Unless you have something.
I just want to say, like, if you're gonna have a dramatic trunk close, make sure the trunk can slam close, because that was very anticlimactic.
Oh, it's a button. It does it by itself.
Yeah. Well, even Casey was like, "This is the slowest trunk." It's like supposed to be this dramatic moment, and you just see this trunk slowly lowering.
That's like how they do cars now, though, right?
Yeah. And it's obviously like that car, like whatever I didn't even realize, but whatever company paid for that car to be there and whatever. But like, take out that feature for a fucking minute, guys.
Oh, so funny. I know. I loved that. Okay, so after the challenge, we have Kyle's Scottish 29th birthday party.
Also, low-key, Kyle is not Scottish.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
Yeah, right? They fucked it up. Devin fucked it up. They were talking about it on the after show. And even so Devin, the host, was asking Big T, was like, so how bad is it for you to mistake a Scottishman for an Englishman? And Big T goes, you don't do that.
It's very obvious because, like, what? Huey was Scottish, right? He had to
Irish.
Fuck. Irish and okay, screw up Irish and Scottish. That's fair.
Yeah, like screw up Irish and Scottish. I low-key kind of thought Kyle was Irish for a while just because of his accent. But
I mean that trashy accent, like the trashy accent.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. Well, Big T.
He's from Geordie Shores or whatever it's called.
Yeah, but like low key, that's a terrible friend, Devin.
I guess Kyle didn't care because he's wearing a skirt with his butt hanging out, and they're all river dancing or whatever, and Kyle's just screaming. I loved when he was just like, ah! Like.
And I thought it was really cute too in his confessional, where it seemed like he actually had genuine emotions. Where he's like, "I put a lot of time in this, and it's like nice to be loved."
Yeah, like set the game aside.
Yeah, especially like since he was just voted in by his friends, and not a single one of his friends was cheering for him.
Oh, we're cheering for you, Kyle, back at home.
I mean, honestly, this game has got to be such a mind fuck, though, because those are like legitimately people like you know and hang out with for years, and they're not even cheering for you.
I know, and I feel like I can't remember. I think Kyle's been on the show longer than Josh. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
So that's also fucked up if you want to go by seniority. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then we have Big T and Tori talking, and Big T wants to throw herself in because she wants to prove that she deserves to be here. And obviously her only options of opponents are Emmy and Tori, since the rest of the girls on Emerald are safe. And she's leaning towards Emmy because she thinks Emmy would panic more, and just because of experience. So
I understand like her point of view, but if you kind of look at the history of things, Emmy panics in team situation, Tori thrives in team situation. Emmy is great in individual competition. Tori is not as great in individual competition, especially when it includes a puzzle, Big T. But do you?
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know. She's probably picking loyalty more than anything. And Tori asked Big T if she would switch, and she's like, yeah, we'll go to Emerald. Obviously.
No, I'm going to stay on this team where you guys all obviously hate me.
Yeah. I'm so sad. So Nani talks to Emmanuel about if Big T wins, she's going to infiltrate their team. And, you know, Nani doesn't want their team to lose their dynamic and chemistry and blah, blah, blah. So Emerald has a team meeting. And, oh, my God.
No offense, Amanda. And he's like, something tells me Big T is going to try to come over here. And I'm just like, you mean Big T told you yourself because you guys are friends, and like we already know that you had this conversation the last time she was up for elimination? Like, shut up, Devin.
Yeah, and then he says something like, every time Emerald has won, they have put everyone else before them. What are you talking about?
He's so dramatic. Like, what storyline is he trying to create? Like, ugh.
I don't know, but it's pathetic.
I did love when it's just silent and Amanda goes, we should vote Tori in.
I know.
Amanda is just like, let's make drama, and I fucking love it.
But it's smart too, because like Tori is a strong competitor and not on your team anymore. So why not? So in the perfect world, they'd throw Tori in, she would win, and then come back on Emerald.
In hindsight 2020, they really should have thrown Tori in.
Yeah, because Tori would have gone home.
Would have. She really would have. She honestly, like, she would have.
So,
well, and then I don't know, them like talking about through this entire game plan. I'm just like, oh, like they're overthinking everything to this point. And it's just kind of like, okay, guys.
I know, you only have so many options.
And Devin's confessional is like, everyone else is playing such a selfish game, so I'm going to now too. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up, Devin. Like, what?
I know, it's so stupid. Oh, it's so annoying. So they're discussing that, and then Tori and Devin talk about Tori going in, and Tori says if she goes in and comes back, she's not going to Emerald. She's broken, and then their friendship is really over.
Well, and also, I love how Devin was trying to like slyly talk to her about this. Like, well, here's our positioning. And then Tori just looks at him and goes, are you asking to vote me in? Like, she just like was like direct as fuck. And I was like, yeah, girl, get him.
It's very obvious what's happening. So that's risky. Like, I guess you should throw Tori in, but if you do, she's definitely not coming back to your team if she wins.
Well, I don't think in this conversation specifically does she say she's not going to Emerald. Because I don't think she says that until the actual deliberation.
Yeah. I don't know. Because I say I have like, if she goes in and comes back, she would be broken. I don't know. I think she said something about not going back to Emerald too.
Yeah, because I think Devin really wanted her to go in for a second because he wanted her to come back to Emerald.
Yeah, totally. As Tori talked about before.
Oh yeah, she was like, everyone's gonna go in and then throw themselves in and come back to us because we're such a great team.
Okay. Tori, are you gonna do that? No.
Yeah, Tori.
So we have nominations, and Emmy talks first, and it would be her 4th elimination. So she will go down there if she has to, but she doesn't want to.
Mash bones in heads.
Yeah, that was intense. The usual. They're so dramatic. They're like, bones, kill her, drink blood. Like,
I will die.
I will die. Die in the sand. Whatever.
Let's just go back to getting drunk and acting like fools.
Yeah, I miss that. So Big T talks about throwing herself in, and then she tells everyone that she would go to Emerald. I don't know why, because it's her best team or best game strategically, and she would be joining the strongest team.
Yeah.
Ugh. So Emmanuel talks and says, like, just because you join this team doesn't mean you get the W, because look, we got Amanda and then we lost. They're just tearing apart Amanda.
I know.
I'm glad Amanda can take it.
Yeah, Amanda's just like, I don't care. I'm trying to win $1 million because Amanda's a true reality star, like reality TV. Like, she knows what the fuck she's doing. The rest are just
dumb.
And then Devin starts like complaining. He goes back to the daily mission. It would be kind of like if I threw Tori, like it would be like when you guys teamed up against me. And CT is correct in being like, Devin, stop holding on to that. Like, you can't keep going back to that. And it's like, get over it. It was one daily mission.
I know, but he's like, wait, no, I mean, like, that wasn't personal. Just like our decision isn't personal. So that's why I'm bringing it up again, because they're both not personal. Like, shut the fuck up.
And it's like the only reason you just flipped like that is because you're scared of CT in an argument, Devin. Because the one person Devin has never gone after or gotten into an argument with are people he cannot win with, and that is CT. Because CT will only get in your face and be like, let's fight.
Literally. So much. Roll the footage.
Adam passed out. David knocked the fuck out. And then here's like a montage of CT just decking people in like those hall brawls and shit.
Yeah, exactly. Killing an elimination. Okay, so and I love this. Nelson like speaks up against Devin, and he's like, look, Devin's going to use what he can and do what's best for his team, and he used his words as weapons, but he still loves you. I was so proud of
you. So like it was an insult sandwich, like Devin said, but also 100% truth. Because
also honesty.
Yeah, like because Devin does use his words as a weapon and then says he still loves you. So
yeah, so they fight a little bit, and because Devin's like, "Oh, you want to start something?" Nelson does.
Honestly, Nelson, argue with guys more often because you make more sense.
I know, that is crazy. And then it's so annoying because like Devin's like, "Why am I up here and you've never been up here?" And Nelson's like, "You have the numbers."
Yeah.
Duh.
Devin, you're not the reason your team keeps winning.
No.
Like you had 3 of the strong. Okay, like honestly though, it comes down to like who has the strongest women on their team is typically because a lot of the guys are pretty even, but there is a big difference between a Casey and a Big T. There's not a big difference between because I think CT is probably the best guy and Kyle's maybe the worst guy. There's not a huge difference there.
Don't you think Devin's the worst guy?
Oh, well, yeah, Devin is a worst guy. There's a big difference there. But besides Devin, like most of them, not a huge difference. But like they had the strongest women from the get-go. That's why they were winning the entire time.
Yeah, they did.
You're not going to lose with Casey and Tori on your team in those type of situations. You're just not going to.
Yeah, and like Nelson says, all you can do is manipulate. That's all Devin has been doing. And in the challenges, he's been manipulating to win. So yeah, he's playing smarter, not harder, which does make him valuable. But I don't know how valuable that is in a final.
It's not.
Because it's too long.
There's been so many times where just one person on a team ruins it for the entire team because they can't keep up. And Devin, like, very obviously gassed out. Like, Big T didn't gas out as much as Devin did.
Totally. Yeah, so that was like an hour and 45 minutes of running, not even running the whole time because you're filling up bags.
Mm-hmm.
A final is like hours and hours of running.
Yeah, and they got a bunch of stops. Like he's able to rest at the car, he's able to rest at the thing, and he still was not doing well.
And I don't think the car was that far down. Like I don't think it was that much of a difference or a distance.
No, I think it was like half a mile. I don't think it was crazy.
The only thing would be hard is if they were in the sand, right? That would be hard.
Yeah, on the after show, he was talking about how it was a very, very hot day. And I was like,
okay. I'm hearing excuses.
I'm thinking there's people that are a lot more affected by the sun that were hotter.
Yeah, so Kyle's telling us that he thinks the game has gone to Devin's head, which is very obvious. And finally, Tori speaks up and knows that the only alternative is that they pick her, and then she's like, and then I would pick Big T, and she's like, if you want to weaponize me, it's not going to sit well with me, and I'm not going back to Emerald. And so Tori's like, why would you create an enemy for no reason, since Big T is going to go down either way?
Yeah, and I think this is like the major flaw in Emerald's like entire fucking plan was like Tori is about winning. Like Tori, like she cares about her friendships, of course, but like we just saw it with the whole Devin thing. Like she's gonna call out Big T if she thinks she's gonna win against Big T, and right. So you're essentially like, I don't understand why they didn't think this through. Like, what do they think? Like Tori was gonna call out Emmy? Why would she do that? Like Emmy's very similar in size and strength with her. So I don't like, it was just a dumb decision. Like they essentially were like threatening Tori and poking at her for no reason. And it's like, even though she says she's gonna, like, she forgave you all, she's gonna remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So ultimately they listened to Tori, which I could not believe. And they pick Big T. And I love before that, like Emmanuel and Tori are just like looking at each other. Did you see that?
I saw like a bunch of looks going back and forth, but it was mostly like the Devin like doing his like weird smile and that's like my one note is fuck off, Devin. Yeah.
I didn't even look at him because like Emmanuel looked like kind of nervous. He like played with his mustache and like looked at her and kind of smiled, and like Tori was like looking. I don't know. They're so weird.
And I think on the after show, Tori might be going to Romania to see Emmanuel.
No way. Wow, that's serious.
Yeah, going all the way to Romania.
And they just were in Amsterdam for the reunion, so that kind of makes sense, probably.
Oh, they were in Amsterdam?
I didn't know that.
I know. You texted me saying like they had the reunion. I didn't know. I thought that was just like New York or LA or some shit.
No, yeah, they like go to Amsterdam. It's a good meeting place, apparently.
Oh yeah, because everyone in fucking Europe.
Yeah.
And everyone from the US is probably like, yes, let's leave.
Yeah, it sucks here. Yeah, so it's Big T, and she's so happy. She wants to show that she's able to run a final, win this elimination. And then Devin's like, I did this move because I want to show how much my friendship with Tori means, and this is kind of a reset button.
No, you did this because it made no sense. Big T's going home regardless. Like, well,
I know.
It's so stupid. Yeah, like
she's not gonna come back and win and go to Emerald.
Yeah, I know. Like they're like, we're not gonna vote Big T. It's like, why wouldn't you? See, I feel like this was almost like, I don't, not to use the word produce, but like a produced moment where they're trying to create drama, but it's like, it's not even good drama that they're creating. Like the list kind of was a little bit of good drama, you know, because it was stupid, you know, and it's fun to talk about. But like, this is just like, okay, this is dumb. We all know Big T's going in and we'll probably go home.
Yep. That's just unnecessary.
It doesn't matter who you vote in. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, oh, so stupid.
So I love this next part because Emmy, ding, 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 finally puts 2 and 2 together that she's been weaponized this whole fucking season.
Yeah, she just needed to hear Tori say it and then take a step back and be like, holy shit, that's
wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then she puts together that, okay, since Big T's voted in, Big T's going to pick me. She's not going to pick Tori, and I'm going to go in, and nobody had my back on that. And she's crying to Emmanuel, and Emmanuel's like, that's not it. I voted for Big T because I don't think she deserves to be here. And I mean,
so I think Emmanuel can say that. I don't think anyone else on Emerald can.
Right, totally.
Because I think everyone else on Emerald has used Emmy as a weapon.
Yeah, and so like it seems like Emmy gets that, but she still doesn't like blame CT. Because it's CT doing it.
She's blaming Emerald, but honestly, the person that's been pulling the strings the entire time has been CT. And on the after show, they asked her about this, and she was like, I really don't want to like know the truth almost. But then Devin gave an answer that was kind of like nice and said like, you know, most relationships are like symbiotic. Am I saying that correctly? Who knows? Where like one person gets something from it, mutually symbiotic. Ugh.
I'll say I don't know on that one.
So it's a big word. You can Google it. I don't know if you're going to get close enough with the letters, but go ahead, try it. It pretty much means you both mutually benefit. And essentially, Emmy benefited from CT's like knowledge and experience. And CT really liked that someone looked up to him as like one of the OGs essentially and respected that, because there's been so many people on these seasons that have essentially, I think last season Fessy was calling CT like washed and blah blah blah.
Oh yeah.
In last a fucking tutu.
Yeah, I didn't think last season was that great, but it was good. It's so much better than this season.
Yeah, it was. Because I mean, we got drama. We got 9 times 8. We got tutus, you know?
We got take the other foot or take the other shoe, bitch.
Also, we got last season the Big T and Tori kind of rift that I completely forgot about until they're like, I can't believe we're friends in this next conversation that they have together, where they're just like talking about, but like Big T last season put her against her best friend in like a power move, which I can't believe Big T last season was making power moves. This season she doesn't have any.
She had the rookies. Like the rookies were huge last season. This season it was like you are a vet, like till you die, obviously. So
till you die.
So they should call this season until you die.
Yeah, screw the spy themes. Just be until you die is the next.
No, stupid. Yeah, so Big T and Tori talk about elimination, and Tori's like, I support you no matter what you do. And Big T feels good about it. And then, they talk about they have an unlikely friendship, and her and Nisa and Tori would have the best of times. They talk about that on the podcast. Because Anissa was like, you would like Big T. And Tori's like, I don't believe you. Now she does. So.
Well, they're both like genuinely nice people.
Yeah, totally. Oh, okay. Elimination time.
And all we see is ice water and possibly a puzzle.
Shocking.
Almost like this was made for Big T to be competitive.
Oh, zing.
Literally the 2 things she's good at, like literally.
I know, swimming. So yeah, she sees elimination. She has a choice between Tori and Emmy, and she picks Emmy, shocker, and she thinks she has the best chance because of the swimming and the puzzling, and Emmy is like, you're right. Just kidding.
You cannot get away from what you were afraid of, she says.
I know. Dang, she's got some quotes.
Emmy like can say, even because when I write this down and I'm looking at it, I'm like, why did you write that down? That's not an interesting quote. But the way she says it is just like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
she's such a performer. I fucking love it.
Yeah, she is. She's great. And I have like, they show Emmanuel's face, like, oh shit, Emmy did go in.
Well, I think he's worried too, because I don't think anyone expected it to be water and a puzzle.
Yeah, so it's going to be a very elimination. It is called License to Chill.
Very spy themed.
Oh my god, I can't wait for the spy theme to be over.
Because you know, all those spies, you typically have to jump into an ice bath and then complete a puzzle.
Yeah, right. Spies do that all the time, like Tom Cruise.
That's what Quantico is, Kaylee. That's all they do.
Quantico. Bring it back, Quantico.
I couldn't think of what the CIA was, so I went to FBI.
No, I love that. That was great. Missed that show.
Well, Quantico is actually where the FBI trains, just FYI.
I know. I just think of the show.
Well, now I'm just thinking about Nick Jonas because I just think about her and then think about
right. Oh my god, did you watch the roast of the Jonas Brothers?
No, but I saw some excerpts and I think that Sansa was pretty funny.
She was. It was really classy funny. It was amazing. Anyway, okay, so there are two giant pools and they're filled with ice, with like a netting in the middle. At the end, there's a bell, and then in front of the pool, there are puzzle pieces that become a square. So you begin and you run into the pool, and then go under, ring the bell, come back, and then you work on the puzzle. Randomly, TJ will be blowing his horn, and then they must jump in the pool again and ring the bell and come back. And so the first person to finish the puzzle wins. This looks terrible.
Okay. Also, did you see these slow-mo shots?
Of them going in the pool?
No, like when they're like, as their challengers, they're giving like their little side by sides. Like, yeah, like Big T's like literally smiling and like float. Because usually it was just like a close up with people with their arms crossed, which was annoying enough. This one, Big T's like smiling and flipping her hair, and then Emmy is literally crawling on the ground like a wolf.
Yeah,
and it's just like, MTV, stop it.
I know.
Like, nobody cares about these slow-mo scenes. They're not adding anything. And honestly, they're probably just an annoyance to the cast to have to do before or after an elimination. Like, just stop.
Yeah, it looks so stupid. Did they do that before? Like last season?
I don't think so. I think this is like the first season of these fucking weird-ass slow-mos. That it's like very obviously like they're taking them aside to a different place to do fucking slow-mo shots. Like, don't break the barrier. Like, let us think this is real.
Yeah, this is real. This is 100% natural environment real.
Yeah, like, stop.
Oh, I know. It makes me crazy. I refuse to take notes on it.
It's literally me just saying LOL stop a bunch.
I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
I think Nelson has a confessional where he pretty much says, Big T, you're a smart woman, but you've dropped the ball on every mission. It's your time to go. And Nelson,
they're so
you're
mean.
the one that dropped the ball on that fucking plane thing that they went emerging.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. He makes me crazy. Manuel's like, I'm rooting for Big T. Just kidding. I'm rooting for Emmy. The usual.
Manuel's the best, honestly.
No. So yeah, they start, and obviously CT starts screaming and helping Emmy, which is really annoying.
And it's like really annoying too. Like, I understand Big T's confessional where it's like, I understand you're rooting for Emmy, like you've taken her under your wing this year and like she's on your team. Obviously you're rooting for her, but like you can also tell me I'm doing a good job. You know, you don't have to help me solve the puzzle, but you can say like, good job, Big T. Like Nani was saying, good job, T. No one was helping her, but like, you can be nice.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to be nice. And I'm confused because if you look from what I saw, after he starts screaming to help Emmy, Emmy's like got a bunch of pieces on already. Like, he's like, use that as your starting point, like this big piece. So it was like, why didn't you say something earlier? Unless he just put that together.
Yeah, I think he maybe just put it together, but also, like, I agree with Amanda's confessional where it's like, Emmy's doing fine. CT, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it did seem really annoying.
Yeah, because he wasn't being helpful. He just kept saying, remove him. He wasn't giving actual strategy. It was almost like he was panicking because he saw Big T doing better.
Yeah, that's really what it was. And then Tori's like, nobody's trying to help Big T because nobody wants her on their team, which is really sad. And then she talks about she doesn't care if Big T goes home because then there's no weak link on Ruby, and then she's on a kick-ass team.
Which is why, like, it's gotta suck to be a reality show. Because, like, I think Sarah talks about it some on her podcast, where you're essentially, like, just watching back people talking shit on you and people that you would consider your friends, and how that's a complete mindfuck. Which, Big T is great. You guys don't need to be talking all this shit.
I know. I mean, especially...
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, especially if she wins, then she's clearly good.
Yeah.
So
also, she makes it to the end of nearly every season. So, like,
yeah,
there's purges in those seasons. There's different things that happen that, like, if you're terrible, you go home. So it's like she's making it to the end of her season because she's got a good game. Like, not everyone, like Amanda says, is super athletic. Like, there are other ways to play the game.
Totally. Social game is huge.
No one's giving shit to Devin for it.
I know. So annoying.
Except Nelson.
So somehow, Emmy places her final piece and wins. Like, Big T realizes that she has to start again. So I don't know what happened, like, with the puzzle anyway. But Emmy pulled through.
Yeah, Emmy ends up winning, which is really confusing too, because it seems like kind of Nelson in his confessional was talking about how locked in Big T looks, and Emmy just kind of looks like she's flailing. Yeah. And it really does look like that the entire time. Then all of a sudden, Emmy just pulls it out.
I know. It's probably the fucking editing. Like, we don't actually see the progression.
Yeah, that or like CT was actually giving good advice, but we just saw the obnoxious parts. Like, I don't.
That's very likely, actually.
Also, I did have one question, though. Do you think TJ was actually doing like a timed horn, or he was just like, okay, I'm bored with this. Go back in the fucking water?
I know. I don't know. I think he did it when he wanted to. That's what he should do.
Yeah, because I feel like that's what Teach does always. He's just like, I'm bored. Honk honk.
I love TJ.
He makes the show interesting. I love how he gives everyone shit too.
I know. He's the constant that we need. So like, obviously Emily wins. And CT's like, she's coming back to Sapphire because she's fixated on Uncle CT. Like the werewolves from Twilight. I was like, why the fuck are you talking about Twilight?
It's just very obviously someone that's like way too old trying to make like a younger reference, but he hits on the wrong fucking thing.
Who's talking about Twilight anymore?
Yeah, it's like, because Hunger Games came after and was like super fucking popular. So it's like, you would have hit closer on that one.
Makes way more sense. And then this just shows CT's game. Like, oh, Emmy went in. She's going to come back to me. Like, she took Big T out just like I wanted to.
Well, and I did love the whole like interaction with like Tej and like the two people because what is it? Well, Big T, you tried. Tej.
I know. He didn't even say come back. Like, we hope to see you again.
Yeah. Well, okay, so this elimination was legitimately made for Big T, though. Like, they did everything they fucking could to make her stay.
To keep her.
They really did. They were like, okay, Big T, not physical, so we're going to put you in some water. That gives you an advantage. Here's a puzzle that is an equalizer. Yep. She should have won. Love Big T, but she should have won that.
I don't get how she didn't win.
I just think Emmy's clutch in eliminations.
Yeah, she is obviously Rookie of the Year. 4-0.
I hate when they claim someone Rookie of the Year. It's just so fucking annoying when they do it too.
It's really stupid. Okay, so yeah, obviously TJ asks Emmy what team she wants to go on, and shockingly, she wants to follow her uncle. Go back to Sapphire.
Did you see the respect Teach put on her name though? Called her Miss Emmy.
Oh, you're right. Yep, they have a thing going on.
Mr. TJ, Miss Emmy.
Aww. So she goes back, and then TJ tells everyone not to get too comfortable and pieces out.
I did love the hug though, where she's hugging everyone, and Kyle's like, "Oh, you are freezing, Emmy." Like, yeah, dude, she's just in a fucking ice bath.
Yeah, over and over again. Yeah, so everyone seems to think that there's going to be one male elimination left and then the final, but we don't know. We will have to wait and see.
Do you think it's going to be like a team final, or they're going to mix it up again? Because the don't get too comfortable thing.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking teams because that makes sense. Like, they split their share of $1 million, but it'd be kind of cool if they went full circle, like back to partners.
Or what if they're just like individual, all against each other?
Love that. Oh my gosh. Yes, I hope so. This needs something. So maybe they like could tell this season's like a little lackluster and they're like, oh, let's mix it up again.
See, I hope it's individual with like a little twist of they can like constantly fuck each other over in the final, because I feel like these people need it because they're too close of friends right now.
Yeah, I like too when All Stars the first season did their final, and then it's like you have to switch partners and you can't have the same partner through each mini final or mini challenge. That would be so cool. They probably won't do that, but it was great.
They need to start pulling things from All Stars because that is 10 times more entertaining.
Is it the same people? Like the same producers?
I don't know what it is necessarily. Like if it's just like maybe the nostalgia of the cast, but I just feel like it's like that old school kind of, you see friendships actually be broken. Where I don't think you're really seeing it this season, which I know is like really messy to want to see, but like there are moments like even in this like All-Star season where you're like, oh, those people are like really good friends, and you're like, oh, they're not friends at all anymore. Like last season, Trishelle and Katie, they've been friends for 20 plus years, we were roommates for 6, and the smallest fucking thing, and then you're like, oh, they're no longer friends.
I don't even remember what that was, except what was it, Trishelle? Is that her name?
Yeah. No, and the only thing Katie did was not go up to her first and say how Trishelle was voted in. Like Katie went and got food and then went to Trishelle.
Oh yeah, that's all it was. And she was like, we lived together 6 years, like you were a hot mess and I took care of you. And you're like, whoa. It was like 12 years ago.
Yeah, like, oh, so you've been mad about this for a while. You've been waiting to pick a fight with Katie.
She sucked.
Yeah, Trishelle is terrible.
Yeah, love All Stars though. We will be recapping that soon whenever this season's over. Who knows? We don't know.
Hopefully soon.
What do you think? Like,
I'm going to say 3 more episodes, 3 to 4 more episodes.
Okay, cool. Cool. Well, until then, we will see you guys next week. Have a great week.
oh, what's our Instagram, Kaylee? What's that Instagram? Insta.
Something awkward because her name's too long.
So something about cigarettes and not eating.
Shouldn't smoke cigarettes, not eat. So come at us.
Words to live by.
Words to live by, yes.
Bye.
Bye.